In a world dominated by cutting-edge fighter jets, stealth bombers, and digital avionics, there exists a machine that was never meant to survive the future, but somehow it did. The Iranian HESA Azarakhsh, a jet born in isolation. A story not of engineering perfection, but of political resistance and national determination. What you're about to discover isn't just an aircraft. It's a living, roaring statement, a defiance against the impossible. Welcome to a journey into the heart of Iran's first domestically produced fighter jet. A machine designed not in open-air hangars filled with Western tech, but in silent labs, where blueprints were incomplete, access was denied, and hope was the only tool engineers had. Azaraksh means Thunderbolt, a name carefully chosen to represent power and speed. It's a modified version of the American F-5, reverse-engineered under layers of sanctions and restrictions that would have broken most aerospace programs. But Iran chose to adapt. They didn't wait for handouts or technology transfers. They built. The Azaraksh was unveiled in the late 1990s as a response to Iran's urgent need for indigenous aerial capability. At first glance, it looks like a replica of the F-5, but beneath the surface lies an Iranian soul. Local radar systems, custom avionics, indigenous weapon integration. Every nut and bolt echoes one message: we don't need permission to defend ourselves, and that message matters. In geopolitics, symbolism is everything. While global powers race toward stealth and fifth-generation capabilities, Iran chose resilience. The Azaraksh doesn't aim to outclass an F-22. Its purpose isn't to dominate, it's to exist. Its maximum speed reaches approximately Mach 1.6. It carries a modest weapons loadout, primarily air-to-air missiles and unguided bombs. Nothing here screams innovation, but that's not the point. The point is that it was built at all. Under crushing embargoes with nearly no outside support, Iran created a flying declaration of self-reliance. But the real story isn't in the stats. It's in the people. Imagine young Iranian engineers with limited resources rebuilding decades-old components. Picture pilots flying test runs over deserts with the knowledge that failure means more than embarrassment. It means public humiliation or worse. Think about technicians training on simulators built from scratch. They weren't just building a jet. They were building confidence for a country determined to fly on its own wings. What makes this story even more powerful is what comes next. Iran didn't stop with Azaraksh. They pushed forward with the Sikh, and later the Kausar. Each an evolution of defiance, each slightly more advanced than the last. But Azaraksh remains iconic. Because it was the first. The moment when the world said, "You can't," and Iran responded, "Watch us." Azaraksh, meaning Thunderbolt, was never supposed to exist. It was built in a place where foreign technology was banned, blueprints were missing, and engineers had little more than hope, steel, and determination. Yet from that darkness came light. Iran reverse-engineered the American F-5 and gave birth to something deeply symbolic. It flies not just through skies, but through the heart of every Iranian who believed their nation could rise, even with the odds stacked against them. What makes Azaraksh even more fascinating isn't its design. It's the context. Every rivet, every circuit, every line of code inside its control system screams resistance. This aircraft isn't about showing off at global airshows. It's about saying, we can't be silenced. Its upgraded radar, local avionics, and capability to deliver guided munitions might not match Western stealth, but it doesn't need to. Because the Azaraksh doesn't fly to compete, it flies to survive. Now, you might be wondering, how does this compare to global counterparts? Of course, it doesn't match a Eurofighter or an F-15EX. But comparison isn't always the goal. Think of it like this. You don't measure the strength of a mountain climber by how fast they summit Everest. You measure it by the fact that they climbed it without oxygen, with torn boots, and a storm behind them. That's the Azaraksh. But wait, the journey doesn't end here. In the description below, we've linked our next video, a deep, emotional dive into Russia's colossal cargo aircraft, including the IL-76, the Antonov An-12, and the awe-inspiring An-124. These beasts aren't just massive, they carry the weight of military logistics, humanitarian missions, and Cold War legacies. Trust us, you don't want to miss what these metal giants reveal about global power projection. And if you're passionate about untold aviation stories like this, do yourself a favor. Subscribe now. Join thousands who believe aviation isn't just about speed, it's about spirit. Tap that bell icon so you never miss a flight through the hidden skies of world history. Because here, every video tells more than just the specs. It tells the story behind the steel. This is not just the Azarakhsh. This is Iran's voice in the sky. Are you listening?